Ah, real quickly, I want to say thanks to everyone who came to the live chat after the game. That was a blast. So many people tuned in for that. That was awesome. Really fun. And I plan on doing that a bunch more. I don't usually do a live and then a video, but I kind of feel like we need one for this one. And I will remind everyone to please hit like, please hit subscribe so you know when these videos come and to help me out. I'd really appreciate it. And one last thing, going to be doing a live through the game for Mile Y enthusiasts. It's $4.99 a month to join. I understand that is not a small amount of money. I never know what to say about that, but it does get you a bunch of stuff. I'm going to be posting a bunch of videos, MLB draft video, prospect videos, trade videos. I've already posted a bunch of it too, so you can play catch up as well. But I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, we're just going to chat throughout the game. I think we're going to have a really good time. Mariners win 8-4. They improved to 38-30 on the season, and they take the first of a 4-game series against the Chicago White Sox. Go over the scoring plays. Sixth inning, Luis Robert homers to left to score Corey Lee. It's 2-0 after the sixth. Lennon Sosa singles to center to score Andrew Vaughn. It is 3-0 after the seventh. And Corey Julks homers to left. It is 4-0 in the middle of the eighth. And then things get good. Dominic Canzone hits a solo homer to center, 4-1. Mitch Haniger singles with the bases loaded to score 2. Ryan Bliss and J.P. Crawford are their names, 4-3. And Luke Raley reaches on a bunt single to third to score Josh Rojas, 4-4. And in the ninth, Cal Big Dumper Raleigh with a grand slam walk-off that scores Crawford, scores Rojas, and scores Julio Rodriguez. 8-4 Mariners win. Simply Seattle provides the very best in Seattle sports gear. It's great stuff for the Mariners, the Seahawks, the Kraken, the Storm, the Huskies, Sounders. You can find it. Supersonics, hopefully back very soon. You can use code MOLLYWOP15 to save 15%. But I'm also going to tell you right now, they have a code going on, DADS20, that will take 20% off your order. That's an awesome deal from awesome people. Use MOLLYWOP15, at your leisure, but use DADS20 right now because that's an awesome deal. Thank you so much to Simply Seattle, www.simplyseattle.com. All right. Let me get comfortable. You guys saw that I'm wearing my cool Star Wars shirt. May the Force be with you. Hope I don't get copyright something for saying that. For 7 innings, 7.5 innings, the Seattle Mariners were absolute garbage tonight. And I'm not going to lie to you. Like I said, I've said many times, I don't write any of this stuff down. It should be really apparent for those of you who have watched. These are so scatterbrained and kind of nonsense, but I think most people have fun watching. Please hit like and subscribe. But I did have in my head that the way the Seattle Mariners were playing, if they would have been shut out, I just would have gone on here and I would have booed for as long as I could. I just would have shouted the word boo because they deserved it for 7.5 innings. In particular, the offense. For 7.5 innings, this offense was garbage. It was a weird kind of garbage. It was a different kind of garbage, a different potpourri of garbage. They weren't striking out a bunch. They just didn't hit the ball hard at all. At all. And some people brought up in the live chat that, look, Eric Fetty's a good pitcher. And yes, Eric Fetty is a good pitcher. He ain't that good. Ain't that good. Ain't good enough to just say, hey, it's one of those days. You faced Randy Johnson. You faced Greg Maddux. You faced Eric Fetty? No. Come on. This was a bad offensive effort for 7.5 innings. Bad. It luckily didn't matter. Another negative is just the White Sox are so bad. I'm glad the Mariners are playing them right now. Don't get me wrong. It's much more fun in a way to watch them play the White Sox than I don't know. What's the right word there? You got to play everybody. You literally play everyone in baseball now. So appreciate when you get to play the crap. Because let's be completely honest here. If the Seattle Mariners would have played the New York Yankees today, the Los Angeles Dodgers, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Baltimore, they ain't winning this game. They're not. The good news is that's not who they played. But for 7.5 innings, this was an atrocious effort. And it wasn't just hitting. Logan Gilbert for 5 innings was fantastic. Dominant. But in the 6th and 7th inning, he wasn't good enough. And I'm sorry. Against this White Sox lineup, which is the worst in baseball. Just the absolute worst lineup in baseball. Yeah, you can joke about the Mariners and all that stuff. I'll take the Mariners group over the White Sox group every day of the week. There's not a group I would take less. They're awful. So I have higher expectations for Logan Gilbert than 6 2/3 innings of 3-run baseball. Wasn't abhorrent. Pitched well enough to win? I'd say so. So I'm not going to go crazy here. But pitched well enough to win, and meeting expectations in this case were not the same. I could be crazy. Matt Bowman did not look good. I don't understand Matt Bowman on this roster. I imagine the reason that Matt Bowman is here is because they want to give it a look, and he probably has a very early opt-out date, and so they want to see how it goes. But I've watched Matt Bowman a lot this year for 3 different teams now. I don't think he works out. Now, he might go to the gym, but I don't see this working out as a bullpen option. I just don't. We'll see, but not impressed tonight and haven't been impressed for all of the games that I've seen him pitch this year, if I'm just being blunt with you. And Kirby Snead is just not good. He ends up not giving up a run, but I don't think you have to have 2 lefties in this bullpen. And Colin Snyder, I think, is better than both these guys by a considerable margin, in fact. Mariners clearly disagree. We'll see who's right. I hope they are, because it's a lot easier for me to go, well, I don't know what the heck I'm talking about, than to watch my favorite team make bad roster decisions. You know what's weird? I'm looking at the offensive box score, and I'm remembering moments from every Mariner hitter that are positive. But the overall collective effort for 7 innings was bad. However, you don't play a 7-inning baseball game, do you? And not to go too Pete Carroll on you, my buddy Brian brought it up in the chat. There's a reason you play 9 innings. There's a reason you play 9 innings, and the Mariners took advantage of that fact, on top of the fact that the White Sox bullpen right now. And what's interesting is the guys they got hits off of today are guys that I think the Mariners probably would have been interested in 3 weeks ago. Not right now, because they're both struggling. But you got to give the Mariners some credit for what they did. So first of all, Dom Canzone absolutely blisters that home run. Blisters it. And somebody brought up the fact that he has like a 50 WRC plus or whatever since coming back from the injured list. Yeah, he's been atrocious. But he's capable of that. It's one of the reasons I'd like Dom Canzone to be a bat off the bench for this team. I don't think he should be a starting outfielder. Absolutely not. But that type of power as a weapon off the bench, the type of guy that you have to bring in a lefty for, that type of guy, a little different with the new rules, but you know what I mean. That's a weapon. and give him credit for shellacking that baseball and finally getting a Rough Betty and getting him out of the game. And then Ryan Bliss socks a single. And J.P. Crawford works a wonderful walk. And Josh Rojas loads the bases. And Julio has a terrible at bat. Terrible. Swings at a pitch that had a lot of movement, but inexcusable. He's got to do better about those inside pitches. I promise you I'll praise Julio in a second. And Big Dumper comes up with the bases loaded. 1 out. And he takes a pitch that was a little inside. It was a ball. He got very upset about it. And I think that we need to give Scott Service all of the flowers that we can for keeping Big Dumper in that game and him getting ejected instead. What a huge moment that was. It didn't seem like it at the time. It's 4-1, and Cal Raleigh gets ejected, and you've just gotten 2 outs with nobody. You're going to fail another bases loaded situation. And I know the stats say how good they are. You see moments like this and you wonder whether stats are a good thing. I know they are. It's just, you know what I'm saying. And then Mitch Haniger is having an atrocious at bat. There's 2 strikes on him. And Kopech makes a huge mistake. And Mitch Haniger just barely takes advantage of it and hits just a little blooper. A little blooper into right field. And it scores 2. And it turns a 4-1 game into a 4-3 game. And folks, I'm not. See what happens when you make contact? See what happens when you put the ball in play? Yes, bad things can happen. No, you don't just want to make contact for the sake of making contact. But when you put the ball in play, good things can happen. There are so few good things that can happen when you don't. There are bad things that can happen. I've talked about it. You know what I'm saying. You put the ball in play, and good things happen. And speaking of putting the ball in play, the Luke Riley bunt is something I'm going to watch over and over again all year, all decade, all the rest of my life. Hopefully it's long. What a play. I loved it. I loved it. Bunting for a sacrifice, giving up outs is stupid. Bunting for a hit, taking advantage of athleticism, taking advantage of the defense playing back is brilliant. There is such a difference. People always go on whatever that Melted Crayon calls that website now and they're talking about, but I thought you hated bunts. No. People don't hate bunts. People hate giving up outs. That is not giving up an out. That is taking advantage of a situation to get a hit instead of an out. Unbelievable play. Unbelievable. One of my favorite plays of 2024, bar none. And then Tyler Locklear almost gets, thank goodness that didn't hit him in the head. I joked on Twitter before I saw how close it came to hitting him in the head that he got Ty-Franced, but I'm so glad he didn't. That would have been, I was scared. I was very, very scared. And unfortunately, Dom Canzone gets out after that, and the bases are no longer loaded. In fact, the inning is over. And Ryan Stanek comes in, and Ryan Stanek throws an unbelievable four-seam fastball today. The pitch that has been his bread and butter all year. He does allow a couple of hits, but after he gets that strikeout to Luis Robert for the third strikeout, an unbelievably huge moment, and seeing how fired up that dude was coming off the mound, I got fired up. I got pumped up. I got excited. I was ready to run through a wall for Ryan Stanek. And I think a lot of you know I have been critical of Ryan Stanek this year. Not just because the results have been bad. I don't love the situation that he's in. Some of it's not his fault. Ryan Stanek should not be your second best reliever. But today, even while allowing a couple of hits, that four-seamer was nasty. By the way, if you see me look it up during this video, it's because I have the game on replay right now. Ninth inning. I'm going to pull up the box score. Just look at the play-by-play. Ryan Bliss grounds out to third. Jordan Leisure is pitching, a guy who had unbelievable, still has pretty darn good stuff. But Ryan Bliss grounds out. J.P. Crawford draws the walk. Josh Rojas draws the walk. So Julio has his chance at redemption. There's first and second. There's one out. And, he takes a pitch off the plate. Then there's a slider around the inside corner that he swings and misses at. And then he laces a single. And I have to be honest with you, I was pumping my fist and super excited that Julio Rodriguez was going to come up with back-to-back go-ahead runs in the late innings. In fact, this would have been a walk-off. And I saw J.P. Crawford still at third base, and my heart just sunk. Not because I wasn't even thinking about Big Dumper at the time. My heart sunk because, what are you doing? That should have scored a run 100% of the time. I'll be honest, I didn't see the jump that Crawford got. So maybe it was a terrible jump. Maybe he thought that ball was going to get caught for some reason. But even Julio looked over like, why are you not home, dog? Good use of dog on Bark at the Park night. By the way, Bark at the Park night seems to just bring out the best games ever. Just have dogs at the stadium. Just leave dogs at the stadium. They're the best. Feed them like crazy. Give them all the hot dogs. Give them all the treats. But leave Bark at the Park needs to be a staple of the Seattle Mariners. But I was just absolutely flummoxed why J.P. Crawford did not score on that play. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter because Cal Raleigh is Cal Raleigh. Big Dumper, your dumper just must be filled with ice, man. The amount of massive hits this guy has come up with in such a short time is so incredible. The postseason, getting them into the postseason, a bunch last year, and a couple real big ones this year. Already his third walk-off. Unbelievable. The Mariners did not deserve to win this game, but I'm not complaining about it. Not even a little bit. This is fun. And, I gave Service credit for keeping Big Dumper in the game. I think you have to give Service a ton of credit for always keeping these guys in the game. I have I so rarely see this team quit. And yes, you have to give a ton of credit to the players. You have to give credit to DePoto and Hollander for building a roster like that. But you got to give some credit to Service too, man. Because these guys don't quit. I get frustrated with a lot of stuff too. I thought he made one of his worst decisions on Saturday or Sunday, excuse me, not bringing in Saucedo to close out that game in the 9th inning instead of the 10th. Ended up working out, but it was a horrible decision. But you have to give him a ton of credit for keeping this team fired up. It would have been very easy for this team to roll over, falling down 4-0 to a dog turd team, bark at the park. But they didn't. And I am crediting Scott Service with that. I'm crediting a bunch of people, but I am crediting Scott Service for that as well. You get the win, have a chance for a 4-game sweep, obviously. It makes it so much more likely that you win this series. So much more. And anything but a series win against the White Sox is a massive disappointment. Though, if they lose a game in this series, any game, I'm going to be disappointed. The 3 of 4 will be an okay result. So much more likely now. Brian Wu against Drew Thorpe. I'll be very curious to see how Thorpe pitches in his MLB debut. A top 50 prospect, lights out changeup, does not have an elite fastball, but the Mariners have struggled against pitchers like this. And the Mariners have just struggled against pitchers too. But by the way, can we talk about the offense here for a second? You've scored 9, 4, 6, and 8 over the last 4 games. Not bad. Not bad. If you watch the first 7 innings, but ultimately you do get the 8. Please hit like and subscribe. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. We'll be back tomorrow with a Mile Y. And also, again, if you're interested, hit join so you can come to our live chat that will start at 6:30 Pacific tomorrow. I think I said Pacific. Thank you, Big Dumber.